Okay, I just got stuck in the rain. Not quite. I chose to be stuck in the rain. I There was a hurricane watch, and so I threw all the plants in the garage except for three and prayed that Archangel Michael and all my guides and whomever may be available, which they all are, to protect my house, my garage, which I'm blessed to have, despite all the challenges I've had to circumference to since last fall when I bought it. The person said the foundational work was fixed and warranted it. At the same time, didn't warranty it, hid permits, or didn't have permits. I don't know. It's just my real estate agent, I don't think was so honest. I had somebody with me that was inspecting it along the way. And honestly, I feel like we were bewitched. I can't even explain it any other way. Have you ever went somewhere? I know I've experienced this with a doctor, more than one doctor before, where I'm looking at them and they're not them or themselves. It's almost like they're hypnotized. It's like they're stoned. They're not themselves. It's just weird. And I've had this happen more than once. I've had it happen once where I had a counselor, and before they got on the phone, it was like they transmitted. It was like they were not them or themselves. It was like I was talking to someone else. And I thought, whoa, like this is weird. And I know they have all these different terminologies for centuries now. Some people say that people like are completely hijacked and they're not them or themselves at all. Some people say possessed, some people say whatever the case may be. And this is happening to professionals. And so anyway, let's just look at some 3D paradigm sort of stuff. And yet it could be 5D or greater as well, all within the mix of my experience just a little while ago. So I planted a beautiful rose bush in memory of my mom and for my sister. And so I got that done in a love and kindness way, and then brought everything in because I noticed the warning on my phone. And I thought, oh, may it weather the storm. And then I went around the house to check things. And then I noticed I had these contractors that cost me $8,000. And they did a bang-on job, a beautiful job to fix the mistake that somebody else did. And then I'm like, have I been trickstered? Like, what is going on here? And I'm looking, and I notice my neighbor, it's like as if his downspout was pulled off, which I will have to notify him of that. And also there's his hose was taken off of his downspout. And I also noticed there's a few little rocks there that normally I don't think were there. But I could be wrong because the contractors cleaned up pretty good yesterday. And then I noticed there was one area right where the window well, there's new window wells put in. And I know they filled it up because I'm sure last night I walked around and I don't remember seeing a dip. And we're talking a big dip. So I'm like, did it settle overnight? And there's like, some rocks. I don't know why, but I just have this feeling somebody may have come at night in my yard and took some rocks for their own yard. And so I'm just in awe. And then spirit, it's like a little lightning bolt comes down and it has me look up. So I did. I know this sounds really strange. So the lightning bolt comes down. So I'm like, okay, I believe in Zeus, but that's just me. And not just me, forgive me. I can't speak for anyone else. I can speak for myself. So the lightning bolt came down and it kind of reminded me, look up. And then I looked up and it was like a full rainbow over my house. beautiful, beautiful rainbow, and over my neighbors as well. And so may both our homes be protected. Our neighborhood, really, it just seems very, very odd, to say the least, that somebody would want to just do that. Do they not think of the karma and the merit? I guess they're unconsciously aware of when you steal or you can be tortured and tormented. And it won't be me to bear judgment, to say the least. But those that do this, it's either because they're not well or because they're tricked into game playing and doing crazy shit. And sometimes it could be not them or themselves. It could be spirit playing trickery with them. So don't try to entrap spirit on this earth plane and play havoc with other people's lives, please. You're doing yourself a disservice and you're doing them a disservice and holding them back from the ebb and flow of crossing over and seeing what they created as human beings being on this planet, whether it's pain and suffering or not, or however it may have been for them. Only they consciously are aware with their personality, amongst other things. And so there are those that cross over and then they come back to do their job in order to serve and protect us in different ways as well. I have to believe that. I'm not the only one. I was talking to someone very recently and she says, yeah, her walls talk. I said, mine do too. What's going on? And we're not talking about shifting. We're talking about spirit protecting, I think, those of us that are consciously aware, that are of love and kindness. And don't get me wrong, even the energy today for me was off with being frustrated with, some things. And there's times where I'm like, okay, this is not like me. This is not like myself. Like, this is really weird. I got to be reminded of the beauty. And I was tonight. And I thank this girl who passed away last year to suicide. And I thanked her very much for reminding me when she crossed over. She went up a certain way where, let's just say, she's not coming back. But that's because she did what it was she was meant to do while she was here on this planet, impacting each and every one of us in the way that she was meant to. And so, when I think of the bigger picture and her saying, don't forget to look up, kind of thing. And so I know I have to go back to that video and maybe take some screenshots. I'm not sure, but to take a closer look and see what it is I'm meant to see. I know that I was full of joy yesterday in a way of creation and moving forward, and I still am, being in a moment of what is as I create, even sharing with you this video. Should you be, let's just say, being tortured or tormented or being in pain and suffering, you're awakened to the awakening and you're channeling and never mind going to my channel or going to someone's channel. I mean, like, literally, we're talking about psychics. We're talking about telecommunication. We're talking about on a frequency line where you can tune in and automatically it happens. And sometimes it may shut off, it may shut on. It's your guides that are helping you on your journey in exactly the way it was planned. But at the same time, you test it. And if it wants you to do something because it says, oh, you're gonna be free of, you're gonna have silence for a month or a year if you just do this. If it's something that's not good and it's evil, you might not want to do it. Or let's say somebody feels like they've had their cake and they get to have something above and beyond all of that. And maybe not ready to let go of one thing, but they have, I'm sorry, my expressions must say it all. It's like somebody having something and they don't want to let it go, but they want something else as well. It's greed. It's selfishness. That's a test. It's a test. Even me today, I'm like, I am fasting, angels. Remind me I'm fasting. Then I went somewhere to drop something, to go and return something. And then I'm like, you know what? I'm eating. I'm emotionally eating. I'm going to emotionally eat. I know it. I feel it. I sense it. And you know what? I didn't even really enjoy the meal. I really didn't. It wasn't something that I can just savor in my mouth and like really appreciate. And and to really, I just did it because I could do it. I had the freedom to do so. And so I know back to, fasting again, because I know for myself, obesity has been a real thing, and it's really hard on people. It was hard on me. And so, but not only that, those that know, it's like the ghost realm thing is true and real for some. And they believe that it's like feeding the hungry ghost when you eat past noon. Superstition, well, I don't know. I just know for myself, there has been times where I kind of query, because there were times where I didn't eat at all. And so it's hard to say for real, to say the least. And so anyway, I celebrate not only my mom, my sister, my family with love. And so that's a sign that I have to sign off of this. I'll share it with you, of course. And I feel like Angel Gabriel, Angel Gabriel is around. Forgive me as I say that name, because it's just a trigger for me at this time. Because of the evil that can persist and ways that this person dumps and does evil things, and other people are affected. But I don't want to be the person that is to blame for her pain and suffering and what she invokes upon herself. And let's just call on the Lady of Mercy, and please let it not be me to be the one that, I'm not here to sacrifice for every human being for their deceit and their game playing and their, discombobulated ways of doing things and getting trapped and being okay with game playing, and being young and vulnerable and not knowing any better, and then playing with my family members. And it's yucky. It's not acceptable. You hear something in the distance like, oh, well, if she has a sister that's a soulful sister, then we're in trouble, kind of bullshit. It's like, I don't feed into that stuff. That would be the frequency way of communication. So it's like, okay, I heard it, but that's it. Let's just move along and ignore that it's even said, to say the least. Now, most people wouldn't talk about this sort of stuff because they don't understand it. And that's okay. It's like being on different paradigms, different life experience, different things you're subjected to. I mean, everything that we take in, and I mean everything, programs us, like literally programs us as beings. Pardon me, I'm just trying to see what my dog is chomping on. It's like she's got the end of the blanket and she's pulling on it like she's flossing her teeth. So either way, may you be well, may you be happy, may you flourish, may you grow, may you experience. And I don't mean to be a negative person in this process of what is. I just am in the clear knowing, and just know there are evil beings amongst us that are going through some changes. And then don't get me wrong, there's some really good people that are easily taken advantage of. And you can only protect them so much. You can put prayers forward for them, their destiny, their choice, their path. We're not here to take anything away from anybody, or at least those that have respect and pride even for themselves. Trust me, it's hard as a parent. And so I know there's people that invade their children's space. They will butterfly effect, astral project, they'll astral travel, they'll do things where they will have a clear knowing of everything their person is doing, their child, their partner, whatever. And it may bring them reassurance, but it comes at a cost because you're invading that sovereign being's space. So you can have trickery playing with you as well. So let's say you have a thought for them and then you have spirit, or you yourself are checking on them to see where they are. You may not get clear, concise truth in exactly where they are, what they're doing, and so forth. There may be some of us that are very good at what we do. I don't want to label it anymore as to what it is we're able to do. I just choose not to. I am, I believe it's different from me being a mystic, but also being a Buddhist. And so I just have to believe in the balance of what is, and everybody, their merit is there, and it can be good, it can be bad. And so I've said this before in the video, that if you do something and you're hard on yourself because of it, that's a sign for you to reflect and see how it is, because that's merit. If it's not good and it doesn't feel good, then it isn't good. If something is good and genuine and kind and intentions are pure and loving and kindness and it feels good, then it is good. And that's good merit. And so we can't get what they would call a get out of free jail card. And that's something I came up with a long time ago, because it's like spiritual avoidance. It's like spiritually bypassing things, not facing truth and reality within your sovereign self and accepting who you are. I know myself, I can be vain sometimes because I'm really hard on my appearance, pardon me, because I'm aging. And it just is. I'm a human being. I'm really, getting used to it and just have to be with what is. There was a time that it doesn't even faze me. And most times it doesn't faze me as much anymore. But I know that, it makes a big difference. Like, I know I've been drinking some beautiful drinks with vitamins and stuff in it, and it just seems electrolytes, and it just seems like it's made a huge difference for me and my well-being. And so I know I just have to be careful in the sugar intake that I take within my body and the sodium. And so maybe eating less and drinking more fluids that are good for our bodies. I know just recently I asked a friend, which reminds me I want to reach out. And I asked her, I said, how do you get rid of cellulite? And she said, caffeine. I'm like, really? And she goes, yep. And I'm like, really? She goes, yep. I said, well, I quit caffeine over a year ago. It had been over a year in January. And I was quite proud that I did. And it felt better because I did. But I'm thinking, okay, so I have to talk to her more about this. How can I get caffeine without, having bad effects and instead have the good effects? So I don't know. I just don't know what to think anymore. Maybe that was just a sign. Live your life no matter what. If you enjoy a cup of coffee, enjoy a cup of coffee. If you don't, you don't. If you have cellulite, you just have cellulite. If you don't, you don't. And so anyway, you got to just comically look at the bigger picture of things and go, wow, such a strange question to ask. And why do I even care? Maybe it's because human beings can be opinionated. Even when you look at men, you can have men that look at women's bodies and compare women's bodies. I remember meeting a man one time, and he literally had the audacity to tell me. I was like, whoa. He said, yeah, I was with this girl, and she looked pretty good, and then all of a sudden she took her bra off. It was padded. It wasn't like, I'm thinking, what? Like, really? So I don't know. It's just the world and the way it is, and people, and just yuck. Are we humanly conditioned this way? Like, yuck. Don't get me wrong. I think it's important to be attracted to someone when you're in a relationship with them. But at the same time, some people say it's the karma, it's the merit. That, people that are really evil in this lifetime, and maybe they're beautiful and they're wealthy and all that stuff, but they have to come back gross and ugly looking and all this other stuff. I don't know, and have to deal with hardship in different ways. I'm not sure what to believe anymore. I just know that it just seems like impermanence is a thing no matter what for anybody, because anything can happen to anybody. A crisis can happen to anybody at any time. I know what it's like to be in that wheelchair and lose the mobility to walk. I know what it's like to be in a time where I didn't talk at all and I was silent. It's almost like losing your speech due to trauma. You know, yeah. A lot of people have been through a lot of things. And I'm talking about there's some evil people out there that are puppeteering and playing with people's ascension and playing with people's lives. And I don't think for 1 minute how it really impacts all of those that surround them and the ricochet effect that it makes. And I just know there's been some evil, evil people that I've come across on my path. And not that I want to do the blaming game. It's just that I know truth. I'm in the clear knowing. And these people don't want to be found out. They want to be found out. What they do is they'll make sure that everybody sees them as vulnerable. They'll make sure that people are programmed to see that they are so innocent, and they're not. And they're not at all. They're game players. They've abused people. They've crossed the line. They've done some real evil stuff in order for their business still stay afloat, in order for not even thinking of the consequences of human beings and how they impact them negatively. They look at it like, oh, well, as long as it's positive, right? Most of the people we deal with, but it's not the case. And so I don't know what to think anymore. I think I have to go with a friend of mine who's a lawyer and just remind myself to be a sovereign being. Take care of me. So maybe you can take that advice too. With all that's going on in the world, take care of yourself. And those that want to take care of themselves, respect it. That's a good thing for me too, to be reminded of as well, is respect that we can all have healthy boundaries. And even though I know that I support people in different ways, because we care, right? It's like taking that step back. And just knowing that there are people that are evil and I'm reminded of it. And it's a lesson and a blessing at the same time. So may you be well, may you be happy. We know things unfold in a certain way, and you look back and you can reflect, but don't stare. And you can see how people were meddling into your business. And then you're like, this is worse than people talking shit about you behind your back. This is worse than that. We're talking about them connecting with their guides, who are connecting with trapped spirits that are obtaining information that you don't give permission for them to do. And it's like, they call it a teacup party, where a collective gets together and they gossip on a channeling line. And it's like a sinking ship at this time. These people are getting found out. because of their demise and the way they've been with other human beings and how they've treated other human beings. And even how they come out and say things. And I find that with me, that those that surround me and what I've experienced, and it's like, did I just really hear that person say that? Now, don't get me wrong, when this person that crossed, I remember we were having a conversation, and it was after a sweat lodge. It was an amazing sweat lodge, by the way. Even though I know there was some telecommunication going on, I was like, guys, stop it right now. Like, enough. Let's just really be in what was, right? And I'll never forget, I was talking to the one person that was sitting on the couch, and she was talking to me, and I was talking back to her, and then something came out of her mouth, but she caught it. And it was like as if spirit transcended through her. She was not her herself. And she's the one that died by suicide. And she was brilliant. She was like beautiful. She was lighthearted. She was obviously successful, even though she had psychosocial stressors in her life and she was caring for her parents, amongst other things. She was a good human being. But something was off in the way something was playing trickery with her. And I believe that when people die by suicide, I've been taught when I worked in mental health, they have a choice. That's why they die by suicide. I feel people are taken by suicide because of the tricksters and people that mess with people energetically and do things that are unethical. And so, I just know she was tortured and tormented. Other people got other visions and other things that they too know that she was tortured and tormented telepathically. And so I feel she's free now. I feel like she's, that life review is still processing. I'm thankful for her message before she crossed and my experience with her and how she was able to just show me what to really focus and concentrate on. Now, don't get me wrong, as I speak, it's not that I'm attached to her. The loss wasn't as great for me as it was for others that were really close to her. And so I feel for those people. I have compassion for those people. And I just know that we all have different views and values and morals and ethics and different things that don't make us perfect. And I know that. But at the same time, there's some real evil, and yet there's some beautiful light beings. And she obviously crossed as well, though. It's not like a wasted life or anything. It was an early exit plan for her. And we're all to learn from it. It's like she's still teaching. And I'm grateful for that. So thank you. And I asked if she wanted me to say her name. She said no. And so it's okay because I've channeled other messages for close loved ones to her. And I know that they think of her often. And with gardening coming up, that'll have an impact as well. And so even the rainbow over my house has an impact on me as well. So thank you in a way for helping me reground myself, even though I know there are those out there that are playing trickery. And it wasn't all in her head. Um, I'll give you an example. I was doing an assignment for my hypnotherapy and past life regression course, and I joyfully repeated this course. And when I first took it, I literally had to leave the city. My computer wasn't set up properly to do the assignment, so I handwritten it. I asked, eventually I got my guide to help me, but I literally had to leave far out of the city, up north, where the fires were, where people were evacuated, I shit you not, in order to have total calmness and no interference through telecommunication from any other human beings. The further out I got, the quieter it got. And so when you think of the frequency line, like the energy with the power lines and everything else, some people are very sensitive to that. But I literally had to drive out of the city just to work on my assignment, to have silence. And we're not talking about, like, I've never been diagnosed with schizophrenia, but I can see how easily people could if they were to share this sort of stuff. But when it shuts off completely, just from you moving, now I'm talking about senses, not only what you see and you hear, and what others may not see or hear, but others do, what you taste, what you sense, what you have a clear knowing about. And so the energy and getting far up north made a huge difference. Then when I joyfully repeated the chorus, it was kind of interesting how spirit will ebb and flow through people. And then the instructor comes out and says, oh, this one time this person handed me in their assignment, it was blah, 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 blah. And I'm like sitting there going, that was me? You're talking shit right there about me in front of everybody else? So I came right out and I said, that was me. And so it just reminds me how people talk shit about people all the time. And it catches up with them. And gossip is evil. It's the laser tongue. Don't get me wrong, I was on a rampage, but I don't do that with other people. I was just sitting there in front of the computer appalled by the survey, the questions I had to answer that I felt invasive. Everything from what I pay in a month on a mortgage to, this wasn't a loan application. I mean, this is census, this is collective data, not only your name, your date of birth, your email. These are things that they tell you not to share with anyone. At one time, it was like social insurance number. Don't share your social insurance number with anyone. Now it's like how much you make a month, how much a month do you pay on your mortgage? What do you think the value of your house is going to be? Or if you were to sell your house, what is the condition of your house? I mean, real personal information. It just doesn't make any sense. And I queried, does everybody get asked these questions? Or is it random in what kind of questions you're asked? It's yucky. So, as the sovereign being I am, I had to write a comment with regards to it. I hope the Prime Minister checks into that and gets that shit with his party sorted out within that umbrella, that department, because it's unacceptable. If that stuff leaks legally, seriously, if it leaks and people's personal information is compromised, and all it takes is one off-the-wall employee that is tortured or tormented or something, I've experienced it where I went to an auto pack and the girl, you can tell she's channeling. Like you're starting to see it now. Before you didn't see it as much. Now you're starting to see it. You can go somewhere, and I've done that before where I've been in IKEA a couple of times now where you're seemingly hearing that person's thoughts or certain things, but it's beyond that. It's like you're getting advice when you're not even looking for it. Because they're obviously channeling a frequency line and having a communication. It's almost like a big gossip line or a gossip realm. And then somebody is like giving you advice about your personal hashtag records. And so it doesn't make any sense, does it? And so err on caution, use discernment. If you find you're getting trapped and you're talking shit about someone to yourself in a way, but somebody's channeled in and they're listening, just remember those are bandits of time. They are robbing you of your time. Take your power back and say, no, thank you. Seriously, no, thank you. Because that is just a way to trickster you. I'll give you an example. So I'm in my kitchen and then I hear something along the lines of, oh, she's paying karma for her rocks basically being stolen because of something her ex did. I'm like, and then I got entrapped in this wormhole / rabbit hole. I'm like, wait a second. That basically, in so many words, that's his story, his experience to share. And that was before we were married, even before we were a couple. So people will share freely. And I know a monk online said, be careful what you share about your personal life and your business. Now, here we go. We got a government agency asking personal information. And so again, err on caution, be cautious. Because also there are those that linger around out of curiosity and being nosy. Like let's say you're taking a course and then they may invade your space before and after. It's a world we live in where there's very little to no privacy. And don't get me wrong, there are all walks of lives and beings that are amongst us. I know even as I speak to you now, I'm feeling a little bit of pain, but I know it's not mine to bear. So once I get up and move around, it'll leave me. And in a way, maybe that's their way of trying to get me to stop from recording. But I'm not. I have the free will and doing as it may. And I still have the freedom to do so. Trust me, there's a lot of people that are underground. They call it underground, but they're not. They're above ground. They're in a higher dimensional realm. They're living lives very simplicity. They're like people are wanting to shut them up because they have a clear knowing. People know certain things are coming and they don't want anybody to share it. They don't want them to share it with anyone else because they try to make it seem like they're crazy. And these are people who are predictors and they know that it's like the weather. People don't believe in this, but people can manifest and create change with prayer, even with the weather. How they collect scientific evidence surrounding that, I have no idea. I'm not an expert in that area. But I just tell you that there are a lot of people that are awakening to the awakened, that are in the clear knowing shit's going on as a collective, and they keep, it's almost like, I'll give you an example. I have such a clear knowing that there was this one time there was a class and Spirit just kind of channels me in, channels me out of certain topics or certain situations. And it's kind of like, you may want to hear this. But at the same time, I'm like, I don't want to know. Do not want to know. Oh my gosh, please do not. Do not. It's like when they were robbing the liquor commissions and I'm like, Spirit, I can't know this. Like, what am I supposed to do about it? What am I supposed to do? Just being the clear knowing. What am I supposed to do to create change just knowing why these people are doing something? And so anyway, there was this class I had taken with another, and this girl is very talented and very gifted. And I know she has weird people showing up at her door because we've been on the phone before and something happens. And I've had my experience where strange people come to the door and I don't answer it. And so, there was something where somebody was trying to shift the conversation. And I remember that this teacher was like, I drank the tea. Okay. I drank the tea. It was the tea leaves that were gifted to me by a reverend because he had a can of these beautiful tea. And I tried the other kind because I didn't want to drink tea for a certain reason. I was giving up caffeine. And so anyway, I gave in the second time round to do it. And so the tea bag was there, and we did a tea reading. And the person was doing the reading. And it was interesting because her and I just sat there and we didn't say anything. And this person came over and she started reading the teacups. And she did an amazing job reading the teacups. So she started the one, which happened to be mine. And she started it, and it was beautiful reading. And then she stopped about 3/4 through, somewhere in there, almost done. And then she said, hey, wait a minute. Which one of these does this belong to? And then she realized, oh, it was me. And she already knows me personally. And so it showed how her personal views came through in her channeling and interrupted her channeling. And so that was really interesting to observe as a seer, and just to see how someone can switch on a dime because of their perspective. And so that'll be a good life review, if not beforehand, for her to see, and how when she's channeled on, she can be beautiful, but there's times where something of a trickster within her comes forward, and then in a judgmental way. And so I know the other person was like, okay, interesting. And then somehow a conversation happened. And I think that they were trying to twist that around, and how the message may have been for the other. And it's kind of like, okay, wait a second though. It was me that drank the tea, and it was the cup of the tree within the cup that was mine, that, so anyway, and the tree had already formed because I took a picture of it. It wasn't because the other put her hand on my cup and turned it into a tree or anything of the sort. And so either way, it just shows you how those that play games, that don't play nice sometimes, that play trickery, that can be witches, warlocks, sorcerers, wizards, that could try to stir up shit. It's just like right now, I have a crystal grid that was gifted to me by this person. And within the wall of where that is right now, it's crackling quite a bit. And so I just know that everybody has to face their own demise eventually, in one way or another. And so whether this person's trying to send me a psychic attack or not, they get found out. They'll get found out for who they truly are. And it's not up to me to bear the judgment of what is. It's my experience. It's their experience. But in reality, as a collective, is it ambiance presence? No, there's stuff going on beyond even my understanding, and maybe even that person's understanding in the bigger picture of things. And so it doesn't matter if somebody's been doing spiritual stuff for 1 year, 99 years, 20 years, 60 years, 5 years, 10 years, 8 years, whatever. Some of us have been taught things, and it's imprinting, it's programming. Some of us have been taught certain things. It doesn't mean it's necessarily true. It may be true to our own liking, true to our own value or beliefs in the foundation that we built, but it doesn't necessarily mean that it is as it may. I'm not trying to betray anyone by sharing this video. It's just be leery, be aware, be consciously aware, and using discernment. God edges us out for a reason. It opens up other doors of opportunity. So God is trying to tell us, and God being love, love being God, is trying to tell us that, this is part of the experience. It could be karma debt. It could be like merit. It could be of various things. It's like, thank you very much for showing me what I don't want to do. And don't get me wrong, this person's a beautiful teacher, is very good at what she does, has elegance, has grace, plays the part perfectly, as in, what people like to see. At the same time, though, again, association, affiliation of all that is, you just start to realize, wow, you just really want to be around good, honest people. Good, honest people. And I know there's been people that I've been around that have not been honest to me. They hide the real truth. Even right down to a point you loan something to them and they deny that they even have it when you know they do. They have to live with that, especially when they're consciously aware and they're in the full knowing, especially when they're doing curses and hacks and ill regard and ill intent. And so, I don't know about you, but I wouldn't want to be around people that are tricksters. We're not talking just about spirit being tricksters. We're talking about human beings being tricksters. There are people that can astral travel and project in your home. Like there was a guy I met, and that's what he could do. He could literally, he said, you know what? I'd be connected with these guys in the States, and then he basically could travel and communicate with them like a ghost. So they'd be picking up things in the home like he's a ghost. So he's trying to, I guess, prove something. I don't know. I just know spirit does speak. And so, I don't know, wouldn't you want to save that for when you are actually in permanence and you don't have your vessel anymore? Aren't you kind of robbing yourself from something called a life experience where you can actually move around like a human being? Who am I to bear judgment? It just is. There's some weird stuff going on, unusual things most people have no idea about. And I just happen to live in a place where the psychic channels are pretty strong. We are the central of North America. The central of North America. And with everything going on between Canada and US, it's pretty mind-blowing. And I think a lot of people are doing what I did back in 2020, 2021, where people are going offline, going off grid. They don't want anything to do with being on social media. They don't want anything to do with like really not even, I think just, yeah, like this is 2020, 2021, where I went through that phase and I disconnected, even right down to a point where you start to believe that you have zero friends, zero real friends. You go through this self-reflecting period. Now, not everybody is doing this. There are other people that are able to still stay around people, still live within simplicity, get off social media because they know things that are going on. Either way, it just is as it may. May you be well, may you be happy. I'm getting offline in this way right now. And my hands are not free, or else I would just say, like, sadhu, 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 as I think of Lord Buddha. And then I think of Lord Sanada, who's known as Joshua and many other names, and say, Amen. And then I think of those like Moses. I go, Shalom. Some would say Elijah. However it may be for you is okay with me. It's pretty bad when the status quo asks what your faith is. Can you imagine asking about financial, asking about your religion, asking about your location, asking about like personal health information, act information? I'm still blown away by all this. Is anyone else screaming out there going, something not right about this? Well, P.S. Be you. Something doesn't feel right, then it isn't. Going back to my conversation, contradicting what I said. Some things don't feel right. It's okay to not be okay with it as well.